ThorZaIN doing a pretty... I mean, he stabilized, but there was also moments in game number 2 where viOlet just went for the big wins in the engagements in the form of those infestors trying to go for the command center, where he could have just gone for SCVs and tried to equalize things up, but again, he would have lost a lot of infestors, so that's a tough situation to recover from as a Zerg.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, those infestors are the essential linchpin to the defense pre-Hive. And down in the bottom left, having shown a variety of different openings, everything other than the norm from Team Evil Geniuses, it is ThorZaIN.
And spawning up to our top right-hand corner, as our red Zerg, after having the series equalized up for him, he goes by the name of AZUBU viOlet. Wonder what he's going to bring out here.
Yeah, I'm really hoping to get the chance to see this sort of non-standard play from ThorZaIN. Because, I mean, he's gone for mech in the first game with a lot of rapid expanding. He went for no early third command center in the second game. Rather, he went for this very fast Marine Hellion push, which, again, I'm thrilled to see. And I would once again hope to see some sort of aggression out of him. And, wow, ThorZaIN with the proxy barracks!
Oh, my God. Well, I mean... It's funny because, you know, ThorZaIN's been mixing it up quite a lot recently, and it's more often on this map than any other from macro Terrans that I see 2 barracks. So I think that Terrans just do not like this map against Zerg. What's your opinion on that, Sean?
I actually think that this map is one of the most unique maps in the map pool, and it doesn't have that at first glance because you think, oh, really easy to get 3 bases, burp. Burp, derp, derp, and you just call it a macro map. However, it's actually surprisingly close distances by ground. Opens up opportunities like this, where we actually see double barracks play working, because I can both put on pressure, but then simultaneously retreat back to my base and expand behind. I would anticipate ThorZaIN not to even commit that many SCVs to this particular push. We also see that with all the counter-attack paths in the late pieces of the game, this push actually eats into Zerg's ability to do those sorts of counterattacks, just due to the fact that we're cutting away his really early third. We're cutting into his drone production right off the bat to prevent him from having those big mineral-heavy forces in the mid-game.
Oh, actually, he's going to bring 4 SCVs from home with this, so he's already got 2 at the front here.
Wow.
I think he might try and block this entire off. He might go for 3 bunkers. I mean, that's one thing on this map that is very, very scary. But look at this, viOlet is reacting well. He's bringing so many drones to try and combat this aggression.
Wow, and it looks like he's even trying to get ready to build some kind. Wow, what an excellent wraparound there by viOlet, managing to get a good chunk of those units right off the bat. The Marine count is dwindling, and viOlet is making this look so easy, Kalaris.
He really is. I mean, ThorZaIN right now is up to 170 minerals, so he can try and start throwing down bunkers, but Zerglings are already out here. And, I mean, with the drones, if he pulls them off as well, there's only 2 Marines for DPS. viOlet has done a great job of shutting down ThorZaIN.
I mean, viOlet is absolutely demolishing this push.
Yeah.
I mean, ThorZaIN just doesn't ever seem to have enough Marines, and they're finally getting the Marine count to a reasonable number. But what does viOlet do? Just picks off the SCVs with ease, continues to follow these Marines. viOlet knows that the push is done. ThorZaIN is in an absolutely horrific situation. I cannot believe how easy viOlet made that look.
The drone's still killing off all of the Marines once again here. It's 13 workers to 12, so viOlet. But the big thing here is the fact that viOlet now has 2 hatcheries, and with 2 queens on the way in comparison to ThorZaIN that has no second command center. So I had to use ominous voice for that, because it's really not so good for ThorZaIN.
Yeah, I mean, ThorZaIN doesn't even have any defense back home in the main, so he's forced to build these extra barracks there. He's even forced to continue to build out of these barracks, which further shuts down his options. And what does viOlet do in response? viOlet's just building a spine at home, expending 1 drone, and then he's going to be building only drones from here on out. So ThorZaIN really has to have some big answer soon.
Yeah, and that big answer is going to come in the form of a second wave of aggression. But the Zerglings, they're on the way. They might actually spot these 2 barracks. Oh, viOlet, you're shutting down everything, and he has to cancel the barracks.
Oh, God, that's so terrible. Oh, Kalaris, it stings.
It really does. And that now, ThorZaIN is so far behind. That's physically painful to watch, right? You get what I mean?
I mean, physically painful is actually, I think, the best possible description. I mean, it stings. It's like when you watch one of those skateboarding videos and a guy trips and racks himself, and you just curl in and you're like, oh! I mean, just seeing that cancel when it's that far from being done, I mean, what are the options even for ThorZaIN at this point?
Oh, and look at this. viOlet thinking a bit like, what? Well, what the hell's going on? Because he didn't see the 2 barracks, so he threw down an extra 2 spine crawlers thinking, well, I guess maybe some aggression's coming because I didn't see a command center either. So, in essence, because ThorZaIN showed his opponent nothing and put himself a little bit behind after doing that, viOlet overreacted wildly to what was going on. He didn't realize that, yeah, ThorZaIN was just that far behind.
I mean, this is brutal. I don't know how else to put it. It's brutal, but amazingly, ThorZaIN has figured out a way to pull the supplies back together. But again, it's one of those deceptive situations where it's not quite as accurate as we're seeing, because I mean, these little counterattacks from ThorZaIN are virtually impossible to deal with. I mean, he's getting delayed his command center. He's losing more SCVs. I mean, ThorZaIN can put on a little bit of pressure, but it's the difficulty of this positioning with the barracks. It's comfortable enough on this map that it's good to do 2 barracks plays, but when it gets shut down that hard, it feels like a million miles away.
Oh, and we now have a Baneling Nest on the way for viOlet here. So viOlet, after seeing what he's seen with the Zergling poke forward and seeing not that many SCVs at his opponent's natural, might end up going for some aggression here. He certainly has the option, especially now with 20 Zerglings on the way. This might couple up really nicely with speed, and we could see viOlet getting very, very serious.
Yeah, I mean, this is where we're really starting to see that leap ahead in supply from AZUBU's viOlet. And, going for the Baneling Nest. I mean, it's like you said, Killars. viOlet is not going to mess around. He's not really thinking to himself, oh, time to go to the late game. He's like, oh, well, if you didn't have any gas until recently, I'm probably up against only Marines. The best you can do is a barracks wall-off. And I don't see a barracks wall-off. So, da-na-da-na-ba-na-ba-da. That's from James Bond, by the way, and that generally plays when James Bond is in trouble, Killaris.
It does, and this is all of these this entire series is just echoes of the show match we had before. I mean, ThorZaIN is going double engineering bay and 3 command center, but can he actually shut down this aggression with this wall? That is so many Banelings. They're going to rip down that wall so quickly.
This is, I mean, you imagine how quickly Banelings take down barracks. Well, what about half-built barracks? Even faster. See you later, the money. 18 number of Banelings. Doesn't even need to expend all of them to get that wall off down. There's the good game. A painful, brutal final match from ThorZaIN.